Hello, Forecaster here, and we are back for episode 45. And I've been doing some work. I have made a small ore processing setup here. So I've moved my macerator from its slot here and put the solid canning machine there instead. And I also have my ore washing plant where it used to be, and the thermal centrifuge I've moved over to this side from where I used to have it. And the reason for that is, as you can see, there are two separate power lines. I also have a charge pad. So we have a low voltage charge or line here, which is on the low voltage side of the transformer, obviously. But the thermal centrifuge requires 128 EU per tick, or can accept that maximal. So it is on the copper wire, which is on this side of the transformer, where there is 128 EU per tick. And I've painted these two cables to keep them from connecting. And I'm now going to foam these cables when I've showed you this. Don't need that one. So I don't have to keep walking over the cables. So I've been having some power issues. And this, I went down to the mine and brought up a bunch of ores, which I chucked in here. So I also have some upgrades in these two machines. They each have a pulling upgrade and an ejector upgrade. This will pull things from this crate here. And currently it's set to eject things back up to there because of the sand maceration that is going on. Normally it would eject things into the ore washing plant. This has no upgrades at all. Instead, this is pulling from the ore washing plant and ejecting up into this crate here where it's outputting its product. So the only drawback is that this will produce some stone dust and some tiny piles of metal dust, and those don't go anywhere, so I have to remove those manually at the moment. I'm going to build a more automated ore processing setup eventually, but this will do for now. So the power issues stem from where power is being drained faster than the turbine can produce it. So what I want to do is set up some backup generators that will only run when power is running really, really low. And the way to do this, there are a couple of ways to do this. One is to have multiples of your power storage. So for example, 2 CESUs, and when the first one in the line is empty, you can have it output a redstone signal, which will engage a backup generator, which will produce energy until it's full again. However, I currently don't want to make another CSU yet, and it's also not fine enough for me for what I want to do. Now we're going to remove this gravel here, put some stone in its place. I'm starting to run out of oil in here. I've emptied the reservoir and almost half the tank. And it's not really because I need more fuel, but I'm going to set the gas lift out there up again to keep pumping up oil, because I want to empty out the cavern that the oil is in, because they tend to have some exposed ores and stuff in them that I want to see what's in there. But the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to use a comparator. Now this is a Project Red comparator because it's somewhat more flexible than a vanilla comparator. Now normally, optimally, this would output a redstone signal based on the charge level of the CSU. And as you can see, it's currently 1. Now if I take this advanced backpack that I did to dump power into and output it here, you will see the signal strength is increasing. And if I drain the power back out, it will be decreasing. However, when one of these is being charged by a cable or by another block, it doesn't update the comparator. So to do that, I have made a timer. Let's set it to 5 seconds. So the timer will be triggering. It doesn't power the doesn't input anything into the comparator, but it is triggering a block update in at least these 3 positions. So it will be forcing a block update every 5 seconds on the comparator, which will update the signal to reflect the actual power level of the CSU. So what I want is, I want 2 different levels so the first level is going to be this Stirling generator and fluid heat generator, which is going to be full of gasoline. And it's going to be controlled by this splitter cable, because none of these blocks respond to redstone, so the only way to turn them off is to cut the connection to the main power line. So what I'm probably going to do, I think I'm going to need a NOT gate. Let's throw the reactor components in here for now, the reactor itself. Because the splitter cable, as you can see right now, it is connecting to the cable here. But if I put a button here and power it, maybe it's not. There we go. So when the splitter cable is powered, it severs the connection to any cables it's touching. So when the signal is on, the generator will be off. What I want is that when the signal is off, the generator should be running. exactly sure how to do this. These are empty. So I'm going to remove you. Then I'm going to need to charge that back up. I have these two bat boxes here that I experimented with, trying to make a backup system. So when this signal is on, I want the generators to be off. And so if I put a NOT gate here and put the nuclear reactor next to it, that should work. So I need a NOT gate regardless. Not in that one. Just need a bunch of you. 3 of you. And 3 of you. Then I have 1 of you, I need 1 of you. And then just 4 of these. There. And then I need the redstone. So I'm not sure. Well, I'm gonna have to. You don't have a storage frame? Right. I probably removed that earlier. For the same reason, I guess. Maybe I borrowed it for something. So if I put the nuclear reactor first, because it requires a redstone signal to run, if I put the NOT gate on it, it will turn off. So now that this signal is off, this will be on. So this will be the nuclear reactor would be running. Then when the power level increases enough that this turns on and turns off the NOT gate, it would turn off the nuclear reactor. I need to move this fuel over to here. I need to make some more of these fluid cells as well. I've been using them for making some stuff, so I have fewer now than I had before. They're extremely handy. Extremely handy. So there we have a little more space. So then we want the splitter cable So if we put it like that, and then put that like that, and then we'll have the generator set up there, exactly where it was before, so I didn't actually need to remove it, but oh well. So now if I charge this, that's going to shut off, and that's going to shut off. Alright, so okay, so this will turn off when it's about, or yeah, turn off actually, which will enable the fuel gasoline generator when this is about halfway empty. Then when there's less than about a quarter left, the nuclear reactor will engage, which is fine. So you want the fluid heat generator there, facing that way, and then that facing up. Then we're going to grab some fuel from this tank. I think it fits 10 buckets worth. Yep. So now that will fill its buffer. Actually, it's opening into that. Then we're going to put the nuclear reactor there. Here. I'm not going to put any fuel in it yet because I don't want it to run right now. I want it to run. I can put the fuel back in when this is filled back up. Let's also plug in the turbine now. This might have a lot of power stored. Not sure. So that should actually do it. The comparator will only update every 5 seconds, but that should be fine. So that will be my power setup. Alright, we also, last episode I made this. Or I made it after the last episode. So I'm going to use it now. I'm glad I didn't use it before because I moved the reactor now. So if I right click on the reactor with this, I get a sensor location card. And I can put that in here. And then I need to apply a redstone signal to that. Let's put this button back here and take this lever here. I can put that there. So now we get some information on the reactor, and it has no fuel in it right now, but we can see it's the melting temperature, which is where this is the point where blocks around the reactor will start to melt, and the max heat is where the reactor will explode. You can see its current EU output, which is the same that we can see here, and the remaining is how much time is left before the fuel runs out, and this is the temperature, which is not the same as core temperature. This is the Hall temperature, which is what these values apply to. The core temperature is a different value, I believe. You can charge this back up the last bit. So now the reactor should be off. We can grab these. Take the fuel rods out and put them back in here. And now if we look, we can see the reactor can run 2 hours and 24 minutes and 6 seconds on these two fuel rods, which have been used a bit. No, stay on the armor stand. And enough power is present that this has been engaged. Or disengaged rather, which is good. So this fills up its internal buffer and then stops. Now I would like a requester frame for that to have the drone that services this area to keep it supplied with fuel. I have been doing some mining and gotten some coal. So we're going to make some more plastic. And I do hope I have enough. I might need to refill the dyes a bit. I think the blue frame is the requester frame, yes. So I think I want 2 of those. So we get 8 of you to start with. Then put this in here. And we ran out of blue dye. I can get some more of that. Don't know if I have anything here. No. Let's grab some red as well. Take some poppies. Put on here. Then smash them. Should have 8 more buckets of plastic. Just will put that in as well. Put you in and you in, and we get 16 of blue plastic sheets, and then we will make 2 of those, and we will set these to request gasoline. And then set them to 10 buckets. And we'll put 1 on there. I don't think there was anything else. This has run out. That's weird. Did this drone die? By which I mean run out of pressure? No. Let's put you here again. It must have stopped because it ran out of work, but it should have had work to do. That's a bit strange. So it should start restocking this again. And I only have it requesting 16 right now instead of 32. Keep it half filled. That way I can dump fuel in there. If... oh. You're not supposed to go on that block. You're supposed to go on that block. I forget why I made this. I could put a fluid hopper on top of here. Use this to keep this supplied with LPG if I wanted to. Clear that. LPG. And do let's just keep 8 buckets in the hopper. This is going to store 16 anyway. That should do. So we set this to invisible. I'm probably going to need some more storage frames as well. So there we go. Have our power network back up and running. Should be good. Have oodles of extra power, just as a reserve, I guess. This battery I was supposed to is intended to be used for capacitor upgrades. We'll have that make some more sand to use a bit of power. So we have reached the end of the episode. Very nearly. I am super low on iron, so after this episode I'm going to go mining, and I think I need to expand my mines a bit to find more iron. I'm also still considering adding custom ore gen and using it to regenerate the ores to create veins. It would be nice. But I'm still haven't decided if or when I want to do that. So I'm going to end the episode here, and I will see you in the next video.